Hello everybody, my name is Alexis Anderson and this is Mayonnaise by Alexis. Today is it. We're taking everything we've learned, we're putting it on a video. I'm going to show you guys step by step on how to create a manicure, how to prep your press-ons, and all that jazz. Today's design is going to be very simple but also very special because this is my homecoming set and the vibe is to match the dress, and I think I've found the perfect color to do so. So that'll be fun. So let's get started. So first things first, ooh girl, I need to plug in my lamp. So all the tools that I'm using today, for the most part, is on my Amazon list. So if you go to my blog post, which is, and the page that is under this page that you found my video on, you will find my Amazon list called Nail Things. It's gonna house everything that I use for my nails. For the most part, everything. And yeah. So let's get started with nail prep. So my nails are already prepped for the most part because I took off the previous tips that I had on. For the most part, they're already filed down. They are a little bit sore. Normally, I wait about a week to 2 weeks between sets to do my nails because one, productivity levels and busy levels, but also just to give my nails time to heal from basically shredding them down a little bit. So, but desperate times calls for desperate measures. There we go. So we're gonna prep the main nail first. So we're gonna take a finer grit nail. This is a 100-180 and very, very light. I don't even know what grit this is. This is just a nail file that you can find at the drugstore. And basically we're gonna buff the nail. We're going to treat the cuticles, cut them if necessary. So we have our nail files, we have cuticle nippers. Be very careful with these. I will probably cut myself, but don't cut yourself. And then we have a couple tools. We have a cuticle pusher. We're not using this end. I have a bunch of these tools that have 2 ends. We're using the cuticle pusher. This one is a little bit less abrasive and like tip. It's more rounded and thick, so it's not gonna totally mess with my nail. And then we're using this side, which is a little pig, just in case we need to get anything under the nail, under the cuticle, all of that jazz. So with that being said, let's get started. So we're first, honestly, I kind of change whether I buff my nail first, push my cuticle back first, whatever the case may be. Yes, I have a blood blister under my nail, don't worry about it. And honestly, my cuticles aren't that bad, but we still want to push on, get any excess that we have off the nail. I don't think, honestly, I'll have to clip my cuticles. They aren't that bad looking. But if you have really long cuticles, then I highly recommend that you trim them so that they don't grow back, blah, blah, blah. Then we're going to use this to kind of lift up if there's anything in the cuticle, if there's any dead cells, like you can see there and there. Here's some goofy little guys. Now, normally I have music playing on my phone. I'll have a TV show playing while I'm doing my nails. My show right now has been The Golden Girls, so don't be afraid to play some music. Put on a movie. You can do a movie marathon while you do your nails. Whatever floats your boat, honestly. Alright, very simple. Again, I just got done I just had a set on, so I didn't really give it that much time to grow back. Now we're going to use a fine grain to buff out the nail. My thumbs are very sensitive. Again, I didn't give them the week that I normally do. I highly suggest you give 1 or 2 weeks between sets, but we're kind of in a time crunch, so it is what it is. So yeah, if there's any rough spots, like on the side of this nail, I have a rough spot, just go in there and get it. So one thing that I learned when doing other people's nails, when I have clients, I was able to do 2 people's nails during this journey, and I've done more in the past besides now, is to kind of watch, you know, right now I'm just shaping my actual nail, but learn their patterns in their nails, kind of assess them, you know, tell them, you know, if this hurts, let me know, so that, because everybody is different with their nails, they have different pain tolerances when it comes to their nails. Some people have maybe scars or just sensitive nail beds. So when you're doing other people's nails, make sure that you are being very aware of that. That's not only gonna give, it's gonna give a much more positive experience. They're gonna be like, oh, you actually care, because you do, because you love that person. And that's about all there is to it. That's one hand done. This is probably the fastest part of this whole process, is prepping the nail, especially if you keep your nails in good states and all of that fun jazz. Prep should be simple as pie. So now we just get to do it on the other hand. Alright, so that is all that done. Ooh, get back over here. So that's all done. The last step in prepping our nails for the press-ons is some of this cuticle softener. This is going to help dissolve the cuticle and prep it for that. I actually need to buy more of this, but just a little dollop on each nail at the cuticle line. And then we just kind of rub it in. And then after we let that sit for a quick minute, we're gonna go with a nail brush. Any nail brush is fine. You're gonna just scrub it with, I use Dawn dish soap, just so that if there's any grease or any other food in your nails, that it gets all that off. But if you want to use just regular hand soap or whatever, you can do that. I personally recommend Dawn or non-scented hand wash, so that there isn't any residue on your nails as well. So I'm gonna go do that real quick, and I'll meet you guys back here in a little bit. Alrighty everybody, we're back. Our nails are all prepped. Now it's time for the tips. This is the second, well, depending on what your nail set's gonna look like. If you're doing a very simple design like we're doing today, putting on your press-ons are gonna be the longest part. If you're doing more intricate designs, then that's gonna be the longest part, but we're now on to putting the tips on. So these are the tips that I will be using. They're the Model 1's soft gel tips. These are medium size and almond. You can use any size tips you want. I am using Model 1's because one thing with all this nail stuff is that not necessarily like the lamps or the nail files or stuff like this needs to stay the same, but especially when it comes to the polish and the primer and all of that, you want to make sure you're using the same brand, because other brands can have different chemicals that can mix funny with them and not have the design that you want turn out. So I decide to keep everything the same brand as much as I can, including simple things like tips, lamps, blah blah blah. So I've already marked what is what. So for this, you're gonna need your tips, your lamp, which you can use a big lamp, but this is going to be much easier. I'm so happy that I finally bought one of these, because instead of having to have your tip, you know, you apply your base coat and stuff, and instead of having to like go through in here all crammed to make sure that you don't accidentally have your nail crooked, you can just simply do that and it won't be crooked and it'll be nice and you're gonna love yourself. So you're gonna need any lamp, but I highly recommend one of these lamps. You need your base coat, your dehydrator, which is optional, and your nail primer, which is not optional. Nail primer is never optional, guys. This is what makes your nails stick. This is what makes the base coat do the base coat thing. Do not skip primer. You don't necessarily have to use dehydrator. It just doubles the effect of your primer, but do not skip primer. Every time you buy colors, 9 times out of 10, it will have base coat, top coat, and nail primer. Some will have also a matte top coat, but never skip primer. So, and you're also going to need your nail file. So, we're first going to start with our ring, our pinky finger. Now, sadly, this nail, the shortest nail in this set, is still too big for my pinky. So I'm going to quickly just file it down so that it will match my size. So I'm just going to take more of a finer edge and just reshape, make it a little bit smaller. Now there are so many different types of tips on the market. These ones that I got, if you can see, they have a little bit of a matte. Maybe if I use a bigger one, you'll be able to see it better. These ones have this like matte part to it, and then the tip is a glossy part. There's some that are pure white, some of them that are clear, all of that. As long as you find the one that's best for you, the ones that you like, that's all that matters. Ones that you're comfortable working with. Alright, I think we are good to go. So, still with our file, there's a fly in here. With our file on the lowest grit, we're just gonna lightly, as best as you can, buff the inside of the nail so that we have better surface to do that with. I'm going to quickly spray some sanitizer on my hands. Alright, dehydrator is first. Again, dehydrator is optional, but 10 out of 10 would recommend. It's just gonna, dehydrate your nail more so that you get better results. It kind of smells like nail polish remover. Let that dry for a minute. Once that's all dry, we go in with our primer. Primer has a very distinct smell to it. If you have ever smelled primer, you know that it has just its own kind of little smell. So we're gonna apply it, and it's gonna feel weird. It's gonna feel like it's soaking into the skin of your nail. I forgot who said it when I was doing their nails, but it felt like hydrogen peroxide on your nail, which is, I think, a really good definition for it. So we're gonna let that dry for about 30 seconds. We're gonna get our base coat, because that's gonna be our next step. Alright, so we're gonna take our base coat. We're gonna apply, a little bit goes a long way, you don't need a big glob. We're gonna apply some base coat to our actual nail, and then we're gonna apply a small bead of base coat to our press on. Not on all of it, obviously, just the part that is gonna rest on the nail bed. Then we're gonna place it on. Make sure it's straight. And then we're gonna cure it for 60 seconds. Make sure you're pressing on as hard as you can. And just like that. Ooh. And have a little base coat get on our finger. Just like that. We're good. Now we're gonna cure it just for about 30 seconds, just to do a final cure, just in case anything that our gum was covering can fully cure. You want to make sure that that's why I really urge people to get clear tips, or like what I have with a little bit of a fog to it, so that the light really gets in the nail, cures the base coat. It's going to keep your nails on longer, all that fun stuff. And there's our first tip, all nice and cute. There we go. Now we're gonna cure for 30-ish seconds just to make sure. Alrighty, so I'm just gonna do that with the rest of this hand, and I'll be back to do this hand. Alright, ladies and gentlemen, so the press-ons have been secured on. Now it is time to prep the forms to get ready for polish. So we're gonna get our file, and these are way too long for me, so I'm gonna file them down and cut them down real quick to the size and shape that I want. I haven't decided if I'm gonna do square again like I did last time, or if I'm gonna do almond this time, but we will do that as we go through. So this is a brand new file. I didn't even realize this was a brand new file, but yeah, we're gonna just go in. This is all personal preference, so also try, and if you got any base coat on the side on your cuticle, to use carefully. You don't want to pierce your cuticle with your thing, but just try and get that off. So I'm gonna take in the sides a little bit before I start to, and all this is now, guys, is personal preference on how you want to shape and file your nail, what length you want it, etc, etc. So go ahead and start taking off some of the length. I don't think I'm gonna have a choice but to go with square again this time. That looks pretty straight to me. So now that I've sized it, I'm gonna go ahead and buff it out, just like we did with our actual nail. And there we go, there's one nail down. You can see definitely the size difference. So now we just do that with the rest of them. Easy peasy lemon squeezy. I'll check back in with you when we do that. Alright everybody, all the nails have been prepped and we are ready to finally paint them. So we're gonna start, I'm gonna do my left hand on camera. So first, just like with our normal nails, I swear this fly is gonna drive me insane. We're gonna go ahead and start with some dehydrator. Yes, they are false nails, but it still works the same. I'm just gonna shake her out a little bit, let her dry, and then we're gonna get our primer. Again, primer is not optional. Use primer. If you don't use primer, bad things will happen. Whenever I think of the importance of putting on nail primer, I think of one video that I saw. That was a girl who did a beautiful set of acrylics. That was like POV, you didn't use nail primer, and she was finished, and she literally like bent her nails and they all popped right off. So guys, nail primer is not optional. Put your nail primer on, whether it's gel, poly gel, dip powder, whatever the case may be. Acrylic, put your primer on. Now we're gonna go in with our base coat. Remember, you don't need a lot. Just a thin coat. And then we're gonna cure the whole hand with our big lamp for 60 seconds. We're gonna get ready for our color. Alright, so our base coat is on. We're gonna do our color. The color we are using today is Model 1's number 0775. And this is a little bit of a cool color because it's almost transparent. You'll see what I mean in a minute. This is beautiful deep cobalt blue that is gonna match my dress perfectly. So we're gonna do at least 2 coats because our first coat right here is a little bit lighter than what I want it to be. But as you can see, it's almost like a translucent polish. It's really weird but really cool. I haven't worked with this one yet. And it doesn't look like I have any touch-ups. I have this angled brush that I'm going to use some in my alcohol that I can use. Just if I do have any touch-ups, I can go around and do. And as you can see, I got a decent amount on my hand, so I'm just going to go in with my brush and wipe that all so that it doesn't cure. Then we're going to pop it back in the lamp for 60 more seconds. There's our first coat. Now we're going to go in with our second coat, which hopefully will make this a lot darker. Yeah. Alright, that's 2 coats. I think we're gonna do a third one before we move on to our glitter layer. Yes, we're using glitter. More seconds. Alright, our main blue is all finished. Now we're gonna make our glitter layer. So my homecoming dress is basically this deep cobalt blue color. That's why I used it. And it also has little itty bitty, not itty bitty, but all over the dress it has this blue glitter and sequins over it. So I'm on my little palette here. I'm gonna take some of this blue, put it on, and since I'm like gonna paint this on, it's not just gonna be decal, I'm gonna put a decent bit on. Then I'm gonna take number 0827, just a little bit of it. It's a silver polish, and put it on here. Then I'm going to take this oval-ish shaped brush. We're going to dip it in the sanitizer. Get it all nice and ready. And then we're going to mix it until we see it fit. We can add more glitter if we want to. And we're just going to paint it onto our nail. And I don't want too much glitter on my nail, just enough so that it kind of shows. Alright, let's cure it. Oop, not 90, 60. Alrighty then. We are at the final home stretch. They're looking beautiful, gorgeous, just how I wanted them, which is always very rewarding. Now it's time to seal the deal with our glossy top coat. It is very important that you seal your manicure with top coat. Don't forget your top coat. You're going to be very sad at yourself when you forget it and then you go to do something and you chip or scuff your nail because you didn't have top coat on to protect it. And when curing your top coat, I always say cure it for as long as your lamp will let you. Technically the highest time on mine is 90, but if it senses motion, it'll do 99 seconds. That's what I do. There we have it. She is all done. I'm gonna go ahead, because there's still some out on the floor. I'm gonna spray my nails real quick. I'm gonna now go in with my file on the gentler setting, and I'm just gonna go in where maybe I didn't catch some nail polish got on my cuticle and gently file it out. If I have any hairs or stuff on the tip of it, go in with my file and get that. Kind of go in and do one final check over. Once you've done that, any nails that maybe like I accidentally did on this nail and I purposely did it on this nail, if there's any scuffs, you can take your top coat and go over it again, just a little tiny bit to fill in the gap. And just re-cure it so that it doesn't stay. And I only just cure this one for about 60 seconds, since it's just a touch-up one. And then you're all done. There you have it. We're gonna do one final squirt down for this now. And then all we gotta do is the other hand, which I will do off camera, but that is it. Look at that. And it's gonna go beautifully with my dress. Like literally, this is my dress, but on nails. I'm very happy with how this turned out. It's very clean, very simple. It's a little bit bold, definitely bolder than what I normally do, but it's gonna pair really well with my dress. So I'm gonna do my other hand off camera and we'll be back to do finishing touches. Alright y'all, I just finished my other hand. I'm gonna go ahead and do the filing. As you can see, we definitely have a lot of fill. This is I was using my non-dominant hand, so it is very normal for that to happen. Nothing little filing can do. So after going through all of these, I'll go ahead and get my top coat and go over the nails that I either purposefully nicked or accidentally nicked with top coat again. And just for good measure, we're gonna put some on the thumb. And again, we'll just cure this for 60 seconds. And there we go, y'all. We'll do one more spray down. And y'all, we are finished. Look at those beauties. Look at them. We're gonna finish off, this is completely optional, but we're gonna finish off with some cuticle oil. And that's it, y'all. That is the full tutorial on how to prep your nails, how to put press-ons on, and do your nails. This was a very simple set, nothing too complex. Really, anybody could do it, any level. So yeah, thank you so much for watching, and thank you for following me along on this journey through learning more about nails, learning the history, learning how to become a nail technician, what that's all about, all the things. Remember, all the stuff that I use in this video and in all my blog posts are on my Amazon list, so make sure to go check that out for some inspiration and to possibly purchase any of these items. Thank you so much for watching, and have a great rest of your day. Bye!